Good evening, buenas noches a todos. Bienvenidos a Español Uno. Welcome to Spanish One. Mi nombre es Carlos Garcia. My name is Carlos Garcia, and I'll be working with your students this year in Spanish One. Before we move on to some of the content about the class, just want you guys to know a little bit more about myself. I know this is totally a different year, totally different start to the year, but so far so good. I feel like the couple of weeks that we've been on Zoom have been very well, very good for me in terms of the interactions that I've had with some of the students, some of your students, and I'm really looking forward to working with them this year. Nonetheless, hoping that they have a wonderful and successful year. So, just so you guys know a little bit more about me. So, I was born in Mexico, came to the United States when I was 4, came to Santa Maria, California specifically, grew up there. Then, after high school, I decided to go to college to UC Berkeley, go Bears. Studied architecture. I actually have a degree in architecture, but decided that's not what I wanted to do. Definitely found that maybe that's not where my passion was, and found out that my passion is definitely working with youth. I really enjoy working with youth, really enjoy working with students, really love developing relationships with students. And one of the things that you'll see from myself, and one of the things that I've mentioned to the students, is that I like to go far and above just student teacher relationship. I want the students to understand that they have someone who they could trust in, someone that's not just their Spanish teacher, but someone that's willing to help them grow as individuals, as human beings. So that's definitely a very important aspect of what I do. I really enjoy doing that. And I've had very good relationships with most of my students in the past. I feel like this year won't be any different, even though it is a little different in terms of the way that we are interacting this year. But hopefully, we'll be back in the classroom sometime soon, and I'll be able to physically interact and know some of your students. So, yeah, it's a little bit about myself. I've been at Sequoia for about 10 years. This is my 7th year teaching, but I've done more than just teaching. I've been a soccer coach. I've worked with at-risk students in the Teen Resource Center. I've worked in the College and Career Center with students ready to go to college and helping them out with scholarships, college applications, and all of that. So I feel like I've had a wide spectrum of students. Um, Definitely very experienced in terms of different work in school. Have also worked with ELD students, so recently immigrated students, helping them out with math and English in the summers. So I've done a little bit of everything at Sequoia. Like I said, I've been a teacher 7 years. I've done Spanish one every single one of those years, so I definitely enjoy Spanish one. Definitely a class that I really like. And especially because a lot of your students make it a very wonderful experience for myself as well. And like I tell them, not only are they learning from me, I'm also learning a lot from them. So definitely something that I enjoy. So in terms of Spanish one, I know these last couple of weeks, maybe you haven't seen much on Canvas or anything else like that. That's because I'm really using these couple of weeks to hopefully get to know some of your students, know who they are, know how they work, connect. Like I've told them, connect their faces to their names, especially because it is a different year, different start to the year. So that's pretty much why you probably haven't seen much on Canvas. But moving forward, probably starting next week, you'll start to see that I'll make announcements through Canvas. In those announcements, you'll be able to see some of the activities that they're working on, some of the assignments that they have. So keep an eye out for that. That'll start happening soon. As long as you understand what I'm asking for and your students understand what I'm asking for, I think it will be a great year, not only for myself, but for the students. So, once again, we'll start doing that soon. Just a little bit about Spanish one. So, it is a introductory course, right, to Spanish. Um, like I said, I'm a native speaker, so I have a lot of experience with Spanish. I'm not expecting your students to be fluent by the end of the year, but I have seen cases where some of the students can have a conversation by the end of the 4 years. So if they really put in the work, right, they really put in the effort, hopefully they'll be able to come out successful, and not just successful, but hopefully to a certain extent understand Spanish very well and be able to speak it. So I think that's very exciting, and that's one of the things that I really mentioned, really talk to them about, is taking advantage of the fact that it is a free Spanish class, right? Hopefully, it could be 4 years of free Spanish. So not only taking it just because they want to fulfill a requirement, right? But taking it with 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 the mindset of I'm gonna learn a new language, right? So I think that's very valuable. Okay, and that's definitely something that I stress throughout the year is making sure they put in the work, put in the effort to hopefully learn the language, right? I just feel like even if it was a regular year, being 4 hours in the classroom is not enough to learn the language, right? This year, 2 70-minute blocks, right, on Zoom is not going to be enough. So if they're really putting in the work outside of the classroom, and that's practicing the vocab, just practicing with a friend, watching TV, listening to music in Spanish will hopefully help them out in terms of being successful with learning the language. So definitely takes a lot of work, takes a lot of practice. And like I tell them, it takes not being afraid to make mistakes and willing to take risks. So that's something that I stress throughout the year on Zoom or in the classroom is them being able to take risks, right, and not being afraid to make mistakes. 'Cause, at the end of the day, a lot of kids might feel judged when they're mispronouncing something, when they're not saying something right. But we have to be willing to get out of that comfort zone and make mistakes, right? So I would encourage them to practice, 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 and hopefully they'll be successful not only this year but moving forward. Okay. So just some of the things that you'll see on the syllabus per se is just the grading breakdown, right? So 60% is going to come from assessments, and that's broken up into three different parts, right? One is speaking and listening, which is 20%. Another is reading and writing, another 20%, and the other 20% comes from vocab and grammar. Okay, so that's 60%. And then after that, so I have 10% that comes from homework, 10% that comes from classwork. That will be activities that they'll be working on when we're on Zoom or back in the classroom, and then that I'll be checking during class. Another 10% from the warm ups. And so the warm ups they'll be able to find on Google Classroom, and we'll go over the warm-ups on a daily basis. I'll give them 5-10 minutes to work on that at the beginning of class. We'll go over it and hopefully they'll be able to learn from that. And then I'll check the warm-ups at the end of the week. So they'll have a link on Canvas. Like I said, I'll give just some of the assignments and links on Canvas through the announcements in Canvas. They'll be able to find that there. And then another 10% is going to come from final assessment this year. That's not necessarily going to be a final exam, but maybe a final project, final assessment. So I don't want to call it a final exam. So 60% from assessments, right? It's broken up into three 20% categories. 10% classwork, 10% homework, 10% warm-ups, and 10% from that final assessment. So that makes up the 100% grading breakdown for the class. We'll be working a lot with VHL Central. So luckily we have vhlcentral.com where we have the book online. So we switched books a few years back, and luckily we have the online text. And with that, through VHL Central, they have a lot of the activities that we would normally do with handouts in the classroom, right? So we have access to that. So a lot of the work that the kids will be doing will be on vhlcentral.com. So that'll be on Canvas as well. You'll be able to find the link there. We'll be creating accounts for the students soon, so probably next week. So a lot of the work is going to be on VHL Central. For the most part, most of the work is going to come from VHL Central. They'll have the warm up in Google Classroom with the link on Canvas, and I'd say that most of the work is going to come from there. VHL Central, and then whenever we do different assignments, they'll be able to find it in Google Classroom, and the link will be provided in Canvas, so they'll be able to find it there. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. But once again, hopefully the kids will be able to have a great year. I know it's a different year, but nonetheless, like I said already, if we put in the work, if we put in the practice, right, and we put in the effort, they'll be able to find success this year. So whatever else you need, feel free to email me at cgarcia@seq.org, cgarcia@seq.org, and I'll be happily answering questions through there. So once again, I know this year is totally different, right? Back to school night is not in the classroom, is not on campus. We're doing it through this platform, right? But if you have any questions, please let me know. And just a heads up, so I'll be home. I just had a newborn. He's 3 months old, and my wife's about to go back to work, so I'll be alone with my baby. So just like I asked the kids, please be patient, be considerate, understand that we all have different situations, and I just want to give you guys a heads up to let you know that there will be some moments where I'll have to maybe step aside while the students are on Zoom, and that's just a heads up from me to you guys. Okay, so once again, good evening. Nice to meet you guys, and hopefully we'll have a great year. Thank you.